What's up, YouTube? It's Brandon from 3H Survival here with Zachary. Would you like to give a brief backstory about who you are?
What's going on, everybody? I'm Zach.
You are Zach.
That's me. You introduced me. Let everyone know my name there. I'm an apprentice here at Arrowhead Tattoo. Known you for about almost a decade now.
Too long.
Yeah, too damn long.
And we're doing a podcast on pretty much basic questions that someone would have if they're wanting to get into preparedness or, pretty much any survival type stuff. So like the main questions that a newcomer would ask, because the main reason I started this channel was to help out the community of people that wouldn't necessarily look like they would be into this stuff or, wouldn't before, but the way the world's changing, a lot more people are into this stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, with that too, I guess like knowing you as a person, I've known for a while like that you've been interested in it, but it seems to have like developed quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like what originally got you into survival and like tactical type information in the first place?
yeah, and it's evolved a ton through time with pretty much readily available stuff online. Like it's kind of like the tattoo industry to where it's kind of very blocked off thing. Like people don't want to talk about the things that they have or what they have prepped because they're like, oh, well, someone can take it. My side of this is if everyone has the knowledge and is getting into things like that, then if they were prepared, they wouldn't have the need to take your shit. So having the knowledge out there readily available for people and helping them out better understand the reasons behind this, because most people think, if you have a food supply for 3 months, that you are a crazy prepper and you're preparing for the end of the world, when realistically, we're tattoo artists. If we break our arm, we can't tattoo. So I'd rather be prepared for that food to be there so my family can eat and, have some money put back to be able to pay for bills, not always focusing on like, there's going to be a civil war or it's the end of the world.
Something catastrophic like that.
It could be something as simple as, you breaking your hand and not able to go to work, and then how are you going to get food? So, or natural disasters, things that happen on a daily basis to where nothing crazy happened in the world. It's not an apocalyptic event, but for those people, it's life or death. So that's the big standpoint that I have on why you would wanting to get prepared. There's people out there that watch... what was that zombie show?
Which one?
The Walking Dead.
Sure.
And then, the buying rate of crossbows went up like 75% because of a TV show. Now, we're not preparing for zombie apocalypse by any reason, but, anything could happen. So being prepared is a big deal.
Yeah.
So what would be some questions that you have if you're first starting out, like wanting to get into this? You have a little bit of knowledge we've talked quite a bit about, but some basic stuff.
So I've heard you mention EDC a couple times. I'm not really like too familiar with that. What does EDC mean?
So EDC is everyday carry. That's going to be the things you specifically carry on your person every single day in order to get through the day. Being prepared for what naturally happens on a day-to-day basis. So it goes with the same thing of like preparedness and everything. Now, can you carry around a backpack that is a get home bag or shit hits the fan bag or bug out bag?
Fair enough. So
yeah.
not only we're talking about like tactical and survival, but just like everyday preparedness.
Yes.
Like
So EDC is everyday carry. What that kind of entitles would be obviously like my cell phone, my keys, my wallet, my essentials. Every single day I'll put those in my pocket. So getting in a routine of doing that. Naturally, put a hat on my head every single day. So that would be my everyday carry. When it comes to the extra aspects of that, it comes with firearm. What firearm I'm going to carry. I usually carry my Smith & Wesson 2.0. It's the one I'm most proficient with. I'll carry on a multi-tool. That way I'm able to have a knife on my hand that's not necessarily just taking up space, because I don't use a knife every day. But I do use something in that multi-tool every day, be it to tighten up a bolt in the tattoo shop or just something. I never really know what my day is going to get into. And then I keep it pretty light. I do carry a tourniquet on my person pretty much all of the time. I also do have a med kit that I keep in my truck but I'm not going to carry around a backpack specifically for that. Pretty much everywhere I go, I have my backpack in the truck, and I have my truck with me. Like, I'm not going on great hikes for 20 hours at a time, and if I am, my everyday carry will be what I take on that trip. A big thing that other people carry around is going to be a fire starter. That is a good one. I do carry around a lighter sometimes. I don't all the time. I'm pretty proficient in being able to make a fire with natural things around me if I needed to. Necessarily speaking, we are pretty close to a city. If something did happen to where I absolutely need to start a fire, I'm positive I could find something in this room to start one if I needed to.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's something that people do stress, like, oh, you need fire on you 24/7. It's not a necessity for me on a day-to-day basis, and it just takes up room for no reason. I like to pack light.
Yeah.
And one other point I'd like to point out for everyone listening is that the more you get down the rabbit hole of becoming prepared for any situation, the less you'll need to keep on you. So the more you know, the less you have to take with you. So that's one thing to point out as well.
So 3H has a pretty cool logo.
Yeah.
But, what does that really mean?
So 3H.
It's a knockoff of 4H.
Yeah.
Grown-up Boy Scouts.
Yep. So, we actually had this conversation a while ago, and really 3H was made with three people sitting in a room. There wasn't necessarily one meaning behind it. It has tons of different meanings depending on, what way you want to look at it. It started out with three people coming up with an idea, so three heads. But this morning I had another really good kind of representation of what 3H is. So I was reading a comment, and for some reason I saw 3H, but for my head just kind of clicked 3 hours. I don't know why, but like 3H, 3 hours. So I was thinking about it, and I was like, people spend probably 3 hours a day watching Netflix, watching reels on their
Easily.
TV, or watching YouTube videos like you are right now. And the amount of things that you could learn in that period of 3 hours every single day, if you dedicated your life to 3 hours every single day, you could change your life in a couple of months. So 3H for me this morning stood for that 3 hours. What 3 hours could I take out of my day to do something productive on getting to my greatest goal in the future? So as a rule of thumb, 3H stands for a lot of different things. And
I mean, like all good things,
yeah.
like they adapt.
Yep.
And it's something that can be kind of like built upon a foundation of, I feel like it kind of started with like the great minds think alike sort of thing. But, with like three people, there's always like a uniting common denominator that
they
could
say
be
two heads
established.
are better than one, so three's probably even better.
Yeah, you've got one person to be a tiebreaker in the case of an argument or something.
That's what it's all about.
So I guess, like, what are some steps that you've taken to prepare for different types of emergencies? I think that, like we live in Tennessee, which I think comes near like the, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a major fault line that hasn't really erupted since like the 1800s.
Yeah, for sure.
So with that, like, kind of in consideration, I feel like it's always good to have some sort of basic prepared kit, some emergency kit on the fly.
Yeah, so, I keep a med kit in my truck all the time. I always obviously have a firearm on my person all the time as well. Because I live in Tennessee, tornadoes and everything, I like to have my things set up in a couple different locations. So, like, let's say my one area got destroyed. I have some stuff in my closet to be able to sustain myself. I have food in different locations. I have about 6 months of food for 10 people, which, that's always every first of the month. I'll get something in regards to preparing for the inevitable. Something's going to happen in your life. Shit's not easy out here. So at some point, something bad's going to happen, and I want to be able to fuck shit up.
Oh, yeah.
And there's nothing stopping it.
Nope. It's a powerful thing.
Tornadoes don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they're pretty badass.
Yeah,
Like,
they scare me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I don't like them.
I mean, things like Hollywood and like Twister doesn't really do it. I mean, they even said it on the set when they were making it, like, this is going to be like Jaws for sharks, like tornadoes are going to be for people with this movie.
Yeah.
So,
I've never watched it.
There are some, like, pretty traumatizing like events, but I mean, that's what people actually go through. So I think
Yeah,
they
for
kind of
sure.
captured that well.
And I think as a humanity, we see so much stuff on TV now that we're kind of disconnected from the actual truth of things to where, like, that shit's happening to people.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you see it on the news and you're just like, oh,
That happens all the time.
on
It's
to my
always
day.
happening.
Yeah. But if that
Everything.
happened to you would change your views on it. You'd be like, fuck, there is a tornado. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's being aware of where you live, like situational context of the geography around you. I mean, we live in a basin. Well, I guess I'm not sure out here in Sumner County. I live in Davidson County.
Yeah.
Nashville's right in the middle of a basin.
Mhm.
It's liable for things to pick up out of nowhere.
yeah, you've had floods there a couple times, and it's pretty wild.
Oh yeah, it's gotten hit quite a bit over the past decade.
Nashville's a rough place to prepare for. You need a
Yeah, it's pretty congested nowadays too.
Yeah, that'd be a
Everybody
rough
from
spot.
everywhere.
Yeah, even with, I do know that I've lived in quite a few areas in the city and even in an apartment complex, and I've done this, lived like the prepared lifestyle, or you could say a prepper, for a while now. And you are able to do those things, but you're going to have to take some hits on living. Like, so do you have the ability to put up a shed in the backyard to use just for your prepared stuff? No, you can't do that in a little tiny area, but you can do things like what I've done before. I'd put my bed on lift, so like not an actual lift, but just some blocks underneath it to give some extra space underneath the bed to where you could put in water, food supply for a couple of months. And it's an easy way for you to put it back. It's not lifting up the bed a ton to where it's like a crazy different kind of
Sure.
lifestyle thing, but you're able to put things under there, even like your kids' beds, put them up about
You-
a foot.
You think
know,
about
and-
how people consolidate to be able to live in tiny homes and
Yeah.
like campers and buses and things of that nature. You can do that same kind of stuff with whatever space that you can afford, and you actually have a lot more room when you start thinking about vertical space and things like that. And there's so many companies now that are centered around that, like with just
Yeah.
like packing and storage.
for sure.
I mean, people that live in like New York, you got to think about that too. Like these are small, like, fucking 300-foot, square foot studio
Yeah.
apartments where they don't really like have much other than like a closet maybe.
Yep, and literally nothing else.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
pretty cool to see what people have done with like vertical style consolidation.
Yeah, you could get a lot in a small area if you just kind of have the mind behind it. Or, there's so much readily available information online now. Like, go to Pinterest, you'll find 600 ideas of how to store some shit.
Hashtags, dude.
Yeah.
Just literally hashtag on any social media platform and you can figure out anything and you're getting first person consumer feedback. You're not getting fucking some glorified review written by AI.
Yeah,
It's
AI's wild now.
crazy.
That's
It's,
what's going to be destroyed. That's going to destroy humanity.
I mean, it's desensitizing, I think, if anything, too, or like causing us to think less. Like I don't have to critically think as much because if I put together enough details and very strong layman's terms, because I don't want to develop my mind and how to actually articulate
Yeah.
those thoughts, I could submit just enough information and be like, hit me with this, change the tone of that. Like we
It's
don't
wild.
have to think. It's like moving towards like singularity.
Well, and the simple fact of like, you can get someone hurt real bad by making a AI image. Like, be like, your lady's cheating on you. Prove it. AI could make that, dude.
Yeah.
AI could do some crazy stuff. I mean, my voice was taken for my other YouTube channel.
I mean,
And-
to be fair, like I work on the other side of things with like visual arts and digital stuff, and I could Photoshop whatever the hell I wanted to. It's just a little bit easier to nowadays.
Yeah, no. for
Anyone
sure.
can do it is the dangerous thing now. People that haven't learned the skill set
It's
to be able to
scary.
manipulate
Yeah.
information like that.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
But
So we kind of went over a thing. We did like a $100 build
Yes.
your own bug out bag at Walmart. And I had kind of like brought a few extra things that I had around the house to like, contribute to that bag. And it seems like there's a lot of possibly usable resources, but more or less like invaluable to efficiency. So like what would be like some common mistakes that people make when they are prepping
Yeah.
for any sort of event?
so let's say everyday carry bag. We'll start out with that one just because that's something that everyone should have in their truck, vehicle. Even if you don't want to carry it around, that's fine. The biggest things you want to think about are going to be food, water, medical. Realistically speaking, when I say medical, I'm not saying carry around a full trauma kit all the time. I do in my truck because I have the knowledge to be able to do that. You want to only carry things that you can use. If you're not able to use sutures and stitch someone up, don't carry it, because what are you going to do if you need to use it anyway? You're not going to be able to. So it's pointless. It's a waste of space. Now, water, realistically here, if I ran out of water, to walk back to my house would take about 12 hours. I could go in the back, get water, and walk my way home, right? I'm not going to carry water around with me every single day. I do have a water thing in my truck, in my medical thing, just in case someone else would need it, right? To where I'm in a situation, someone's dehydrated. I keep around electrolyte things I could put in it and, help them. But realistically, someone in this area, if I needed to get food or water in a survival situation, there's 16 stops on the way I could get to it.
It's pretty urban.
Yeah. So I don't really focus on that for like my ED bag or fucking bug out bag.
Your ED bag.
ED bag.
Yeah.
ED bag.
Got to carry around something to keep it up.
Yeah, that one's going viral. But biggest things I would focus on are the things that you realistically would use every single week. Medical, carry around some Advil. It reduces inflammation, also help headaches, toothaches, simple things. Another main thing is going to be some sort of what is it called for allergies? The main brand,
like antihistamine, like of some sort.
Yeah. So if someone's having an allergic reaction,
like Benadryl.
Benadryl, that's the main one. So you need, I think they come in 25 milligrams a tablet. For a bad allergic reaction, you need about 75. So you take 3 of them. And I learned in a medical course that it's actually better to go with like the liquid or chew them up, even though they're terrible, because it'll get into your system way faster. So if you're having a really bad allergic reaction, 75 milligrams is going to be what you want to take. And sometimes it's better to do like the children's because it's immediate.
Yeah, the chewable, dissolvable tablets.
Yeah.
You know what would be great is like some sort of powder, like a BC powder that was actually antihistamine.
So have you ever chewed one of them up?
What? Like a
Like,
BC powder?
yeah.
You
No,
don't chew
like-
them up. It's
like,
like a Benadryl? Hell no.
It's terrible.
I know, but that's what it would be
rough.
like if you chewed up like a generic ibuprofen.
Yeah.
But they've put that in the form of like powder
You know
with
what's crazy, though?
flavoring.
I love the BC powder like taste. I love
Just
it.
the plain
Dude,
one?
I love it.
Psychopath.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I don't know why. I had to stop doing them.
You stopped doing them. Like it
Yeah.
was a thing, like
Yes,
a problem.
dude, yes.
Like
As a tattoo artist, like, my back hurts all the time and everything. So like I'd take one of them and I liked the taste of it. So
I mean, that's fair. I understand the benefits and the regularity of it, but you made it seem like you were like pulling out a little glass tray with a razor blade, and you were
yeah,
like,
just be like, you could have a little bit, but the rest is mine.
The rest is mine.
Yeah. So I used to carry a BC powder in all my bug out kits, but
Low-key
now I carry
bumps of
I
BC powder.
carry pills now because I didn't want to get addicted to it. Bubba.
Yeah, I guess they're like less water soluble too in the case of any sort of wetness.
Wetness.
You don't want to get
What
too,
kind of
You
wetness?
don't want to get too moist.
Yeah, that would be a rough time having some moist BC powder trying to choke that down.
Ooh, BC sludge.
I didn't like that one.
It refers to like sludge rock before Christ.
What?
Down, down, down. And on that note, you've been into this for a while. I'm fairly new.
I'd like to be into it, buddy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet you would. It's gonna cost you a lot more. Have to work out that shop cut.
Yeah. What you got, buddy? What's the question you got for me?
But you've been into this, survival preparedness thing for a while. I'm a casual when it comes to it. Basic things around the house in case of a tornado. I've got a closet with a shelf higher than regular, just to be able to go into a closet with multiple people if needed.
Okay.
There's some blankets and shit in there. But like I'm pretty new when it comes to like learning more. I don't say I would know how to start a fire in the wild with just any resources other than
A lighter.
And what
Yeah.
I've seen on Survivor, the
It's
fire
just
making
so hard.
fire
It's-
making competition, man, they struggle sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like they've
Depends
been
on the moisture in the air, all sorts of stuff. To where, yeah.
so many variables there. But I guess like how would I like start learning more about like survival as a complete and total beginner?
So, when it comes to survival and understanding all these things, you have to have a passion for it. It's with anything else in life. If you really don't care, you're not going to learn anything. It's a waste of time. If you actually have a passion for being able to learn these things, obviously you're going to want to. You have a passion for the woods, outdoor stuff. All these things kind of go naturally together. So, watch everything online. Do your research, because like watching videos out there, there's so much beneficial information that even someone that spent years and years watching videos, there's still some out there that I pick up on one thing differently, or the new technology coming out. Like, it's an ongoing learning experience that never really stops. So there's so much out there that, do your research, understand how to use a map is a big deal. Being able to understand things. If GPS goes out tomorrow, these are all basic things that every human being should be able to know how to do, but we've lost it through time. That's the biggest problem with nowadays. So let's say something crazy did happen to where it doesn't even matter. Shit hits the fan, whatever it may be, or economy collapses. We'll go with that one.
Zombie apocalypse.
Zombie apocalypse, whatever.
Come on.
Let's say everything did go down before there was, the Great Depression, right? Everyone at that period of time was making like basic bread, and going out in their yard and picking different things to be able to eat and survive during that
People
period
were
of time.
more in tune with their survival.
Exactly. Nowadays, people don't know that stuff. Like, people would go outside, eat something, and it would end up giving them the shits for 3 weeks, and then they'd end up die from malnutrition. So, like, the only thing people have nowadays is the ability to go kick in someone's door and get what they have. That's how they would have to survive.
Yeah, well, true. And like the reliance that people have put into having information at their fingertips at all times has made people, suffer from like short-term memory loss. They don't feel the need, the survival need to hold on to information to be able to use it in a situation, not out of an extremity.
Yeah.
Literally just to get by without that information. And in a situation like that, we wouldn't have the internet at our fingertips anymore.
No.
Like,
It would be gone.
so
And
it would
then-
just be complete and utter chaos just for only negating our basic human instinct of survival
Yeah.
for so long.
Like, just think
it's
about this.
crazy.
We eat, even me, I have a legit schedule of when I eat a day. If I go off that schedule, I'm a little uneasy. I'm not happy about it. Let's say I don't know the time anymore. Our phone goes down and I have to go by time. Even just understanding, not even listening to my body and being like, okay, I'm not hungry, but I'm still eating because it's 12 o'clock and that's what my everyday tells me to do. So even something as simple as the time that you think it's time to eat is going to mess with your day if time went away.
Yeah.
So it would be such a crazy experience for everyone to go through that even something as simple as when to eat. Like, people could go days without eating. It's not a crazy thing if you look back in history. Nowadays, if we don't eat 3 times a day, hell, if I don't eat 5 times a day, I feel like something's off,
Yeah. And most people aren't even aware that it's just a brain to stomach signal telling you that you're hungry. It's something that is going to happen more frequently when we're like, so stuck in a habit, like a habitual process, like our day to day is the same for so long. It doesn't mean we're actually at that point.
Yeah, to where we need to eat.
Like that, but it's so funny how strong it is now if we
Yeah.
go like a very short period of time.
And it's like, oh, I'm uncomfortable. I need to eat.
I'm like-
From that slight feeling of uncomfort.
I'm hangry.
You can literally rob someone for food because you are that starving. When it's just your tummy just being like,
Oh, it's a perfect conditioning to keep us like fucking reactive
Yep, right
whenever
there.
things need to be
Yep.
reactive, because it's something you can always rely on in people is the savage nature of humanity.
hey, nature is a bitch.
Yeah.
And she ain't stopping for nobody.
Best acknowledge it.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for jumping on. We're going to wrap it up for this one. We have plenty of more ideas in the future. So thank you guys so much for watching. Keep your powder dry and your I fucked that up.
No BC sludge.
Keep your powder dry and your nose clean. Sounds like I'm talking about Coke, but I'm talking about guns.
Keep your nose powder clean and
Your
dry good.